Testing 1, 2. All right. Waiting on YouTube. Come on, YouTube. And they were live. Okay. So what's going on, guys? Donnie Rouse here, and today I want to speak about capturing the magic in your day. Said differently, I want to speak to you about how to capture these magic little moments that show up in your day that you either acknowledge or you ignore. Because by acknowledging and taking these little impulses that life is giving you, all of a sudden it's going to open up your day. You're going to feel more alive. You're going to feel more peace and presence in your day that literally carries forward into your life. So let me ask you, have you ever felt like maybe you were driving in a car, and in driving that car, you saw a cool little cafe, and you're like, oh my God, that place looks so awesome. I would love to just stop for a moment and grab a coffee. But then what happens? But then something chimes in your head. You're like, no, I can't do that. I've got to pick up the kids. I got to do laundry. And before all the to-do list starts to pile on. And as a result, you drive right by. Can you relate? What I'm going to tell you here is that by taking a moment, maybe like a few minutes, that it actually isn't going to take away from your time or leave you with less time, but it'll actually give you more. And how can I say that? Like, how can taking time out of my day to do something else give me more time? Because here's the thing. A lot of the time when you are in the rush, when you are feeling like there's no time, what you're really doing is you are spiraling around in your head. And as a result of the busyness in your mind, you lose time. You're not operating efficiently. But if we can get you to take that moment, to slow down, all of a sudden, time seems to expand. You start to feel better. And as a result of feeling better, a different part of you shows up in your day. And that different part is a kick-ass leader that takes names and does all the things in a fraction of the time. So the inspiration behind this was, I was talking with a friend of mine, my friend Eric, and we were walking down back from dinner, which I'll go into that part later, but I'm going to rewind. I was driving in the car from the gym, and every time I would be on my way home, I would pass this pizzeria, and they have these nice, strong lights outside. I'm like, that place looks amazing. I just want to go there and just take a few minutes, maybe grab a slice of pizza, hang out there for like 5 minutes, and then go home and start my day. Whenever I have this impulse, it's usually on a Friday, but I'm like, no, I got to get to the store. I got to pick up dairy. I got to do certain things before the markets tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a rush. The problem with that, and I would think to myself, I'd be like, well, I could just plan it. Tomorrow I'll go there, and then I'll plan it tomorrow, and then I could take the time to be there. But the issue is now it becomes a plan. So I really do believe that life happens in the unexpected. Those little impulses are there to kind of give you the energy, the vibrancy, the vitality in your day. When I thought about planning it, it just lost all of its appeal. I'm like, well, I don't want to go there now. I wanted to go there yesterday, right? So why do I want to go there now? So fast forward to some of my friends were at eating at a restaurant. And so I could have, they started before I'd gotten there. So I could have drove to the restaurant and just parked outside there and then met them afterward. But instead I was like, you know what? Where do I have to be right now? Nowhere, right? I don't have to be anywhere. So let me just park my car at one of their houses and let me walk to the restaurant, because I would get a lot more enjoyment just walking, stepping out of the routine, getting out of the box, right? Because at times we all live in a box. We live in the box of our house, our room, the office, the car. You go from box to box. I said, let me just step out of that. I started walking on the street, and all of a sudden I just started to feel looser, more calm, more open. And on the way back, I was explaining this to my friend. We were talking about just life, and he was he was commenting. He's like, man, you got the life. And I always laugh when people say that because my life, people, they look at my life from the external and be like, man, you are living your life. And I always will tell people, I'm like, well, you wouldn't be happy in my life. They're like, well, what do you mean? Because all of your decisions that you've made in your life have been made based on your own value system. Like, you wouldn't want my life because my life is based on my value system. And they're like, oh, they think about it for a second, and and then sometimes it clicks, sometimes it doesn't. But we were talking, and I was sharing with him the experience of driving home and wanting to go to this pizzeria, but always skipping. And then how those moments that are outside of it's the small moments outside of the planned small moments, right? It's like the unexpected moments. That's where life happens. And we were talking about, I just booked a trip. I'm actually going to Sri Lanka and Laos. High five right there. And I booked the trip. And I was telling my friend Eric, I was like, I'm going. He's like, well, you're going on this trip coming soon. And I was like, be honest with you, when I booked the trip, I didn't want to book the trip. He's like, well, what do you mean? I was like, because as I was booking it, all of these things are happening in my business to expand. And it just seemed overwhelming. And the only thing I'm like, why would I leave right now? I have all this stuff happening. It's too much. Like, I can't leave at this moment. But having done this for more than 20, I don't even know how many years, I know that it's always like that. You get caught in the pattern of living where now anything outside of your day to day seems like a chore, seems like there's not enough time, seems like maybe it's too risky. Knowing that, I went forward and I was like, all right, well, boop, I booked the trip. So now I'm heading to Laos and Sri Lanka. After I booked the trip, I felt pretty excited because I started doing the research. I was like, all right, I could visit like Laotian coffee farms. I could, looking at cafes, looking at beaches. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait. But it didn't start there, right? Like I had to force myself to book that trip to get out of the day to day. And it really resonates with the story I was telling you about driving by that pizzeria. That pizzeria was symbolic of just breaking the routine, because we all get stuck in a routine. And unless you are able to step outside of that, you're going to feel like you're in a rut. You're going to feel stuck. I'll give you one more side story. And this happened, especially during the time of COVID. I would make it a point to want to get out of the house, right? So COVID is long over. And then post-COVID, everything's starting to open up. And I'm like, all right, I get to go back to the gym. And I would literally say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym at 1 o'clock, right? So 1 o'clock comes around, and I'm still home. I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? Because I'm circling around the house. Like, it's almost like I got so comfortable just being home that it's like I was preventing myself from stepping outside, getting back out into the world. And it wasn't because I didn't want to. It was just because my habitual patterns for however many months there were was just being in the house and wandering around the house. So as a result, the mind, I can't remember the saying, the neurons that fire together, something together. I don't know. It basically is saying that when you do an action long enough, it just becomes a pattern, and you have to break that pattern. So I invite you to look at your own life and to see, like, all right, well, where are you just living on autopilot? And when you are aware of when you're living on autopilot, where you're just going and following the motions, then you can start to say, well, where can I interject some excitement to, some variety? Maybe it's that way home. You're coming home from work before being bombarded with your kids and having to, be the mom, or maybe you're going to the gym. Maybe you can stop at the local cafe, just grab a coffee and just breathe for 5 minutes before you go on with your day. And I'm telling you, if you were to do that, it's going to have just a profound effect on your day, but not just your day, but everyone else's day that you're going to interact with thereafter. Plus, you get to feel your day. Isn't that what it's all about anyways? right? Why go through your day on autopilot only to get to the end and feel exhausted like you didn't do anything for yourself? So I encourage you and I invite you to do something for yourself. Something today, even if it's for a couple minutes, and I promise you, try it out. It is 100% foolproof. Like when you take that moment, when you get that impulse, and maybe you'll even be late. I don't know. I'm trying to say that you won't regret it and you'll get more done. But maybe by taking those 2 minutes, it'll add, maybe you might throw you off depending how close you're calling it on the schedule. But I want you to pay attention to the part of you that shows up thereafter. Because you broke the routine, you woke back up to life. You awoken from the slumber. Every day you have a chance to awaken from the slumber, from the hypnosis that you'll go into daily. That's why it's so powerful to have things that pull you out of the routine, as well as daily habits that allow you to reconnect with the moment, such as your cup of coffee. So if you are listening to this, purchase some Rouse coffee. But seriously, it's so important to have these rituals that pull you back in your day. So this way you can live consciously, live with intention, and make decisions that are aligned with where you want to go in life, and not the shoulds, what the shoulds and conforming to keeping up with the Joneses, all the other stuff, because there's a shit ton of noise around you at all times. And if you're not taking that time to guide your own ship, you are going to be steered by whatever is around you. I don't want that for you, because I know that you have more to aspire to. You want to experience more in life, right? We all want to experience more of life, more excitement, more love, more passion. But it's not going to happen from just running the routines and living on autopilot. It's going to happen when you take conscious control of your life, and you check in and you become conscious of your habits, your thoughts, what is controlling you. So this way you can plant new seed. So this way, eventually, when you repeat those habits, all of a sudden now you're like, wow, Donnie, how do you do it? Like you always, you could be going, all of a sudden you just stop, and all of a sudden you're sitting at a cafe and you're just right in the moment and you're enjoying it. And nothing phases you. I'm like, well, I'll practice it a little bit. So do something for yourself today. I encourage you that. When you say you have no time, say it's bullshit. Tell yourself it is absolute bullshit. Even for 1 minute, right? Everyone could afford 1 minute. Do something for yourself that will break that routine. Do that enough, and then you will start to open up with some freedom, and you will have the ability to steer your life in the direction you want to go. Hope you enjoyed this rant here. I hope that it just opens up your day to let you see the magic and the blessings that are present in every single day, and that they're gifts that you have to open up. So you can either let them go unopened, or you can choose to open them. I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, share with somebody who you think can benefit from it. Remember, you only get one life. Live fully, live passionately, and most of all, live now. God bless you guys, and I will see you again soon.